Hare Krishna. Welcome to Bhakti Steps. We will continue with um, our Bhagavad Gita reading. We are in the 18th chapter. So let's start with the prayers which are on my screen. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnana Jana Salakaya Chakshuranitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guroho Shri Gita Padagamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavasya Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deen Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesh Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namsute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sudevi Pranamami Haripriye Vanchakalpaturvesya Kripa Sindhu Bhaiva Chapatitanam Bhavanibhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Sadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. So we did till verse number 50. So we did till verse number 50. Okay, just so Krishna is talking about Brahma Bhuta platform. You asked some questions, right? Like all these qualities, who has and all that. So this is these Gyan Yogis also have this kind of qualities. Karma Yogi also have some of them, but this is about Gyan Yogi. And I think we discussed this Brahma Bhuta stage yesterday. In this particular Brahma Bhuta stage, one it's like a spiritual understanding where one lives on the level of the soul, the spirit. So here, one's intelligence is purified. It is not running after anything in this world. He eats what is necessary. He controls his body, mind, power of speech. He's in trance. So there are some examples to it. Even some Prahlad Maharaj yesterday I said. Then another one is Jada Bharat from Srimad Bhagavatam. He was living like that. They are free from false proprietorship. They are peaceful. The acceptance of material things. They are not attached. They are very detached. They are very detached. So this is from Jnana. So this is a section of Gyan Yoga from here, 18th chapter. So we'll move to text number 54. One who is thus transcendently situated at once realizes Supreme Brahman and becomes fully joyful. He never laments or desires to have anything. He is equally disposed towards every living entity. In that state, he attains pure devotional service unto me. So in this Brahma Bhuta platform, spiritual platform, when one is situated, he takes pleasure on the level of soul. He takes pleasure on the level of spirit. How he takes pleasure is he sees that he is spirit. He sees everyone is a spirit. And whatever material things are happening, he is just observing it. He is not taking part in it. Okay, he's not taking part in it. So he's not getting carried away with the success, failure, happiness, distress of this world. Another way to understand it is like you are seeing someone else playing video game. Today video games are very famous. So if you are seeing someone else playing the video game, and he's whether he succeeds or fails, that doesn't affect you, and you're just watching it, isn't it? You're just watching it, and you're not getting carried away with whatever the person is having, success, failure, various kind of situations that he's playing in the video game, right? You're not worried about it. You're not worried about it, neither you're getting carried away with it. So similar kind of consciousness is there of a Brahma Bhuta stage um, yogi, where he is just observing things, and in that observance he's taking pleasure on spiritual platform. So that is how he becomes joyful. The joyful is not like laughing or something, it is a happiness which is more intermingled with peace. So that is the Brahma Bhuta stage. In the purport also Prabhupada will say about the impersonalist. So can someone read the purport?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah, go ahead.
To the impersonalist achieving the Brahma stage, becoming one with the Absolute is the last word, but for the personalist or pure devotee, one has to go still further to become engaged in pure devotional service. This means that one who is engaged in pure devotional service to the Supreme Lord is already in a state of liberation called Brahma Bhuta, oneness with the Absolute. Without being one with the Supreme, the Absolute cannot render service unto him. In the Absolute conception, there is no difference between the served and the servitor. Yet the distinction is there in higher spiritual sense. In the material concept of life, when one works for sense gratification, there is misery. But in the absolute world, when one is when one is engaged in pure devotional service, there is no misery. The devotee in Krishna consciousness has nothing for which to lament or desire. Since God is full, a living entity who is engaged in God's service in Krishna consciousness become also full in himself. He is just like river uh, engaged in God's service in Krishna consciousness become also full in himself. He is just like a river uh, cleansed of all dirty water, because a pure devotee has no thought other than Krishna. He is naturally always joyful. He does not lament for any material loss or aspire for gain, because he is full in the service of Lord. He has no desire for material enjoyment, because he knows that every living entity is fragmental part and parcel of Supreme Lord, and therefore eternally a servant. He does not see in the material world someone as highest and someone as lowest. Higher and lower position are mm, ephemeral, and devotee has nothing to do with ephemeral appearances or disappearances for him. Stone and gold are of equal value. This is the Brahma Bhuta stage, and this stage is attained very easily by the supreme devotee in the stage of existence. The idea of becoming one with a supreme Brahman can eliminating one's individuality, because hence the idea of attaining the heavenly kingdom become Panthamagurya, and the sensor are like serpent whose poison teeth are broken. As there is no fear of serpent with broken teeth, there is no fear from the senses when they are automatically controlled. The world is miserable for the material person. But for the devotee, the entire world is a good as Vaikuntha or the spiritual sky. The highest personality in the material universe is no more significant than an ant for a devotee. Such a stage can be achieved by the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, who preached pure devotional service in this stage.
Yeah. Just hold for a few seconds. Okay. So, a very detailed explanation of Brahma Bhuta stage. So, this Brahma Bhuta stage is achieved by both impersonalist and personalist. And the impersonalist, they achieve by becoming one with the Supreme. That is, there is this Brahman, which is the spiritual sky. They merge into it. Does Bharisha go well in freelance? Tomorrow. 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 Look at the Bharisha. Yeah, tomorrow, yeah. There. Okay. Sorry. so, so yes, the impersonalist, they merge into Brahman. Okay. So on the level of peace is where they experience joyfulness. But for a personalist, a bhakti yogi, he doesn't merges into the spiritual effulgence. He goes further and becomes engaged in devotional service in uh, in the Vaikuntha planets. So in the Vaikuntha planets, he goes and he does service to the Supreme Lord, and that's where he gets joy in it. In this material world, whatever service we do, there is always some misery attached to it. Therefore, we have to do all the services as a duty in a detached way. Okay, that is the key of being not affected in this material world, to do it as a duty. And selflessly is also another important thing, that if we do things selflessly, dutiful, benefit for others, and ultimately surrendering the result to Krishna, then we won't be affected so much in the material world. Okay, now here the personalist, he develops devotional service, pure devotional service to the Lord. How he develops? When he has no thought other than Krishna. He has no thought other than Krishna, and he does not lament for any material loss or aspire for gain. He becomes in he's in 24-hour service to the Lord. So this is a very high state. He has no desire for material enjoyment. We are not there over there. For us, we have to do karma yoga, but this is what we need to reach at. So that's why we need to know all this. And he knows that he is servant, and he sees everyone else also in the same view. Therefore, he doesn't have any higher or lower kind of outlook. When he sees stone and gold equal, then he is in Brahmabhuta stage. In this stage, when he does service to the Supreme Lord, then it becomes pure. And here the senses are not affecting him, they're not troubling him. See, this is the most important point of Brahmabhuta stage. The senses are not at all troubling him. In our case, senses are always troubling us, right? We are always looking here and there. But in the Brahmabhuta stage, they are not at all troubling. So you can imagine, it is such a free, um, such a great freedom is there. Um, like in the material world, we are always getting attracted. Our senses are getting pulled in every direction. So therefore, we have to engage them in Krishna's service. But in the Brahmabhuta stage, this becomes natural. This becomes natural. It is not it's not that we have to force that. Everything becomes very natural. naturally done. Hmm? Okay. And here also, like this is the yogi, he is doing dhyana on the supreme super soul within his heart. That is also he achieves Brahman stage when he sees the super soul. No? Then he achieves that joyfulness. Okay. So, any questions before we go further? Okay. One can understand me as I am, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, only by devotional service, and when one is in full consciousness of me, by such devotion, he can enter into the kingdom of God. So, Krishna talked about Brahma Bhuta stage, right? That is spiritual state. Here he is saying that when one does devotion to him, so he very specifically pinpoints on the Bhakti Yoga part. Then he says he can enter into the kingdom of God. So we'll read the 18.55 verse. The the Sanskrit of it. Bhaktya mam abhijanati yavam yaschasmi tatvatah tato mam tatto nyatva visate tad anantaram. So the word bhakti is used. When bhakti is used, only bhakti can abhijanati, can only know me. Mam is me. In truth, tatvatah in truth. When you know me in truth, tato mam tatvanatva, visate tad anantaram. He enters thereafter into my eternal abode, enters into the kingdom of God. That is Vaikuntha planets. Hmm? So we'll get into the purport of this. Okay. Can someone read this section?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yeah, go ahead.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, and his plenary portions cannot be understood by mental speculation nor by the non devotees. If anyone wants to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he has to take to pure devotional service under the guidance of a pure devotee. Otherwise, the truth of the Supreme Personality of Godhead will always be hidden. As already stated in Bhagavad Gita 725, Naham Prakashaha Sarvasya. He is not revealed to everyone by erudite scholarship or mental speculation. Only one who is actually engaged in Krishna consciousness and devotional service can understand what Krishna is. University degrees are not helpful. One who is fully conversant with the Krishna science becomes eligible to enter into the spiritual kingdom, the abode of Krishna. Becoming Brahman does not mean that one loses his identity.
Yeah,
Devotional service is
wait. It's not Brahman, it's Brahman.
Brahman, Brahman.
Yeah. So, so again, the same point is mentioned that using university degrees or erudite scholarship, mental speculation, you cannot understand Krishna. You can only understand Krishna by bhaktya, bhakti. This is Krishna himself saying. So that's why in the Vaishnava sampradayas, bhakti is given topmost priority. Because Krishna himself is saying that without bhakti you cannot understand. Hmm? Yeah, go ahead. Devotional service is here. Hmm.
Yeah, Brahman. Devotional service is there, and as long as the devotional service exists, there must be God, the devotee, and the process of devotional service. Such knowledge is never vanquished, even after liberation. Liberation involves getting free from the concept of material life. In spiritual life, the same distinction is there, the same individuality is there, but in pure Krishna consciousness. One should not mistakenly think that the word Vishate enters into me supports the monist theory that one becomes homogeneous with the impersonal Brahman. No, Vishate means that one can enter into the abode of the Supreme Lord in one's individuality to engage in his association and render service unto him. For instance, a green bird enters a green tree not to become one with the tree but to enjoy the fruits of the tree. Impersonalists generally give the example of a river flowing into the ocean and merging. This may be a source of happiness for the impersonalist, but the personalist keeps his personal individuality like an aquatic in the ocean. We find so many living entities within the ocean. If you go deep, surface acquaintance with the ocean is not sufficient. One must have complete knowledge of the aquatics living in the ocean depths. Because of his pure devotional service, a devotee can understand the transcendental qualities and the opulence of the Supreme Lord in truth. As it is stated in the 11th chapter, only by devotional service can one understand. The same is confirmed here. One can understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead by devotional service and enter into His kingdom.
Yeah, just stop for a while. So what Krishna is trying to say here is we will see some pictorial way of looking at it because it will give some idea. So this is the whole material world plus spiritual world. Okay, this part is the spiritual world, this part is material world. In between, you see, this is the Brahman Jyoti. So when we say Brahman and all that, this is the effulgence, the light coming from the body of Krishna. And because it is spiritual, the spirit soul, the Jivatma, can live in this, can stay in this. So therefore, the impersonalist, they want to merge into this Brahma Jyoti. Okay. But the personalists, they know about the information of Vaikuntha Loka, Dwarka, Ayodhya Dham, and Golok Vrindavan, Mathura Dham, and all that. They want to serve Krishna in all this dham. Okay. To do this, one needs bhakti. One needs bhakti to get into this. One needs bhakti even to merge into Brahman. Okay. One needs bhakti to advance into his Gyan Yoga and merge into Brahman. That is there. Then when the bhakti matures, that I want to serve the Lord eternally, then he enters the spiritual kingdom. So Vaikuntha Loka. So when Krishna says Visate Tat Anantaram, it means two things. It means Brahma Jyoti, it means Vaikuntha Loka. For the impersonalist, it means Brahma Jyoti. For the personalist, it means Vaikuntha Loka. Does it make sense? Any questions on this? Any questions?
No problem.
Okay, okay. After attaining the Brahmabhuta stage of freedom from material conceptions, devotional service begins by one hearing about the Lord. So one continues the process of hearing Krishna consciousness. Um, Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu, Smaranam Pada Sevanam, all that he continues, even in the Brahmabhuta stage. So here the focus is only on the Bhakti Yogi. Only on the Bhakti Yogi the focus is. When one hears about the Supreme Lord, automatically Brahmabhuta stage develops. And material contamination like greediness, lust for sense enjoyment disappears. So we are also hearing about Krishna. So slowly all this lust, greed, anger is decreasing. Slowly. Minutely it is decreasing. And when we put effort and we do bhakti for a long time, then it should decrease much further. As lust and desire disappear from the heart of a devotee, he becomes more attached to the service of the Lord. And by such attachment, he becomes free from material contamination. In that state of life, he can understand Supreme Lord. This is a statement of Srimad Bhagavatam. After liberation of the process, bhakti or transcendental service continues. The Vedanta Sutra confirms this. Tatrapi hi darshatam, drishtam. This means that after liberation, the process of devotional service continues. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, real devotional service liberation is defined as reinstatement of the living entity in his own identity, in his own constitutional position. The constitutional position is already explained. Every living entity is part and parcel, fragmental portion of the Supreme Law. Therefore, his constitutional position is to serve. After liberation, this service is never stopped. Actually, liberation is getting free from misconceptions of life. So, in this Vaikuntha Loka, what happens? One may have this question. So this is how 15th chapter when we read it was it was explained that there is an inverted tree and it is the Vedas. Hmm? It branches and all that are all the Vedas. If we go towards the tree, we achieve liberation. If we go down the tree, we remain in this world. And this tree is a real reflection of the spiritual world. So whatever relationships we are trying to develop here, friend relationship, parental relationship, conjugal relationship, all of that is existing in the spiritual world. But there's a difference. If somebody sees a mango in the reflection of a mango tree, hmm, let's say this is a mango tree. Now somebody is looking at the mango in the reflection, that is in the pond. And if he jumps inside the pond to get that mango, will he get the mango? Will he get the mango?
No.
No, right? Similarly,
No problem.
here in this material world, we are looking for pleasures in all kinds of relationship, right? But we don't get it for a long period of time. Okay, things are pretty temporary here. What starts as nectar in the start ends up as poison. So that's why we are showing the friendship and persons can kill each other. There is love story and it can end in divorces. We are seeing that. So there is a problem in this world of duality. There is happiness, distress. But in the spiritual world, it is absolute nature. Absolute nature means if there is some anger, envy, lust there also, it it is not leading to a different effect. Here anger leads to different effect. Anger leads to sadness, disgusted, disappointment. But there the anger leads to happiness only. That is the meaning of absolute. We discussed this, right? Minus 1 of absolute is again 1 only. Similarly, here all the emotions, whether positive, negative, it will end up in positive only. So coming back to our point, what happens in the spiritual world is we develop relationship with Krishna. So originally we have some eternal relationship. When we reach the spiritual world, we revive in that relationship as friend, as dasya, as sakhya friendship, as vatsalya, as a parent. We want to serve Krishna, or as a conjugal lover, like the gopis. Um, 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 as a conjugal lover, yeah. So one of these relationships we will serve Krishna. Does that help in understanding this section? What does it mean by visiteta anantaram? Any questions on this point? Okay. We'll move to 56. Though engaged in all kinds of activity, my pure devotee under my protection reaches eternal imperishable abode of my grace. Now here the word abode is used. We will go to the technical word and see what it is. सर्व कर्माणि अपि सद्या कुर्मणो मद व्यपाश्रय मद प्रसादात आपनोति शाश्वतम padam avyayam. Now the word uses शाश्वतम padam avyayam. Shashvatam means eternal. Padam, it means abode, a place. Avyam means it is not destroyed, an undestructible place, eternal undestructible place is achieved under my protection to all as my mercy to all the bhakti yogis who have perfected their life. So that's why in the previous verse, Visatetat Anantaram is already translated as abode. It is not translated another way because in the very next verse, Krishna uses the word Padam. Padam means lotus feet also. So it's actually a place. So that's why in the previous verse, the translation was like that. Okay. Okay. Can someone read this purport?
Okay, Prabhuji.
Can I read the word?
Yeah, yeah, go ahead.
The word mad
Vyapashraya.
vyaparsha means under the protection of the Supreme Lord. To be free from material contamination, a pure devotee acts under the direction of the Supreme Lord or his representative, the spiritual master. There is no time limitation for a pure devotee. He is always 24 hours a day, 100% engaged in activities under the direction of the Supreme Lord. To a devotee who is thus engaged in Krishna consciousness, the Lord is very, very kind. In spite of all difficulties, he is eventually placed in the transcendental abode or Krishna Loka. He is guaranteed entrance there, there is no doubt about it. In that supreme abode, there is no change, everything is eternal, imperishable, and full of knowledge.
Yeah. So that supreme abode, one is engaged in the service of the Lord in one of the relationships actually, and it is very joyful. All Krishna's pastime, his stealing of butter, playing with the cowherd boys, lifting Govardhan. These are all very happy pastimes, right? Is there any sadness in it? These are all very happy pastimes. He's very naughty. He's very mischievous. Hmm? He steals the butter from other gopis' houses. He plays the whole day um, on the hill of the Govardhans, right? He swims in Yamuna. He plays with the gopis. He dances with the gopis. All this our Bollywood is trying to catch, right? This is what they show: actresses running around trees, singing, dancing, having nice time, isn't it? Yes or no? This is what we see in
Yes,
Bollywood, Hollywood. Mostly in Bollywood, definitely see this, right?
yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah, but there is a difference between Bollywood and Krishna's pastime. What is the difference? What is the difference?
They are eternal, Prabhu.
Krishna's pastime is eternal. Yes, Bollywood is temporary, only 2 hours.
Hmm.
And Bollywood is fake. Biggest point is it is fake. Actor is fake, actress is fake. When they are singing song, someone else is singing, they are just moving their lips. But here Krishna is singing, Krishna is playing on his flute. The gopis are singing, the gopis are dancing. And there's no retake. Is there a retake? In films they do the retake again and again. They practice before dancing, and they while dancing they keep smiling. Even though it is paining, the whole body is paining, they still have to smile, right? But in the spiritual world, Krishna and gopis, everyone is dancing in their spiritual bodies and they never feel tired. Okay. So so yeah, the spiritual world is completely different, and it's eternal, full of knowledge. It's the abode of happiness. 57. Now after giving this all this information, Krishna is saying, my mercy, by my mercy, I I I I send them to back home, back to Godhead. Okay. Now he's going to expand on that. in all activities just depend on me. Work always under my protection. In such a devotional service, be fully conscious of me. 57. Chetasa sarva karmani mai sannyasamattvarah buddhi yogopaashritya machchitta satatam bhava. Chitta, your mind, your heart, put in that bhava, satatam, always. Bhava, that emotion, that feeling, put in me, machchitta, in my thought, in consciousness of me, 24 hours a day, satatam, bhava. So you go there. Okay. Can someone read this purport?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Go ahead.
Yes, Prabhu. When one acts in Krishna consciousness, he does not act as the master of the world. Just like a servant, one should act fully under the direction of the Supreme Lord. A servant has no individual independence. He acts only on the order of the master. A servant acting on behalf of the Supreme Master is unaffected by profit or loss. He simply discharges his duty faithfully in terms of the order of the Lord. Now, one may argue that Arjuna was acting under the personal direction of Krishna, but when Krishna is not present, how should one act? If one acts according to the direction of Krishna in this book, as well as under the guidance of the representative of Krishna, then the result will be the same. The Sanskrit word matpara is very important in this verse. It indicates that one has no goal in life save and no goal in life save and expect acting in Krishna consciousness just to satisfy Krishna. And while working in that way, one should think of Krishna only. I have been appointed to discharge this particular duty by Krishna. While acting in such a way, one naturally has to think of Krishna. This is perfect Krishna consciousness. One should, however, note that after doing something whimsically, he should not offer the result to the Supreme Lord. That sort of duty is not in the devotional service of Krishna consciousness. One should act according to the order of Krishna. This is very important point. That order of Krishna comes through disciplic succession from a bona fide spiritual master. Therefore, the spiritual master's order should be taken as the prime duty of life. If one gets a bona fide spiritual master and acts according to his direction, then one's perfection of life in Krishna consciousness is guaranteed.
Yeah. So if you see, I have highlighted the whole purport because every line of it is so important. Every line of it is so important. So we'll go line by line. See, when we are in Krishna consciousness, we don't act as a master. We act as servant. Krishnera Nitya Das. Jivera Swarup hoy Krishnera Nitya Das. As a servant of Krishna. Now, servant does not have individual independence. He acts according to the master. So, we are always looking to what Krishna is trying to tell us, and we are doing that. Okay? We are unaffected by profit and loss. We are acting on the, like, company, when there is a profit and loss for the company, are we so much worried kind of thing? No, right? We are just doing what the company is telling us to do. Similarly, in the service of Krishna, there may be some profit, there may be some loss. We are not affected by that. We are just most concerned in the discharging our duty. Now, one may say that for Arjuna, Krishna was directly there in front. We don't have anybody in front. Okay, we have two things in front. One is the Shastra, and another one is the Guru. The Guru is the representative of Krishna. So, if we listen to the Shastra and the representative of Krishna, then it is same. Why? Because representative of Krishna is also on the absolute platform. Just like uh, let's say the secretary of prime minister comes to your place and he's saying do this, do that, you will listen, right? You will listen to that orders. Why? Because he's representative of the prime minister. He is having almost equal control, authority as much as the prime minister, right? Same way the representative guru is non different than Krishna. He is not Krishna, but he is non different than Krishna. So therefore whatever he says, whatever he directs, right, it is according to the shastras and it is according to the desire of Krishna. So we don't need Krishna talking to us. This representative talking to us is enough. The guru talking to us is enough. Krishna within the heart will give us the knowledge. So that's why one should take that order coming from the disciplic succession from a bona fide spiritual master, and then perfection in Krishna consciousness is guaranteed. Okay. Now we are doing all kinds of job in this world, all kinds of duties we are doing: father, mother, brother, sister, husband, wife, son, daughter, engineer, politician. So many duties we are doing, and we are doing duties according to our psychophysical nature. Our psychophysical nature is pushing us to do a particular kind of work. Now when we are in Krishna consciousness, we should think that this line is very important for us. I have been appointed to discharge this particular duty by Krishna. Now if that duty is, let's say, army duty, then we should know I have been appointed by Krishna and I will do according to what Krishna says, according to shastras, and I will offer the result back to Krishna. If it is duty of a software engineer, we should think this way only: I have been appointed by Krishna. Ultimately the appointment is coming from Krishna. And then we should do things which are shastrically based, which are dharmic. Adharma, adharma, just a minute. Adharma. Let's say somebody is in business, okay, and he thinks, okay, Krishna has put me into this duty, but then he starts doing something illegal in business, adharmic business, and then he says, okay, I will earn and then I will offer the results to Krishna. Will Krishna accept those results? No, right? Why? Because it is not dharmic. So this line, right, if we think, it assumes that we will discharge it dharmically. You understand? It assumes that we will discharge everything dharmically. We'll discharge everything, uh, if I use English words, morally, ethically, honestly. You get it? What the dharma says, I will discharge it to that. Now, before this, we discussed about Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. Hmm? So, there are dharma shastras for each of these, and we may lie in one of them. So, if we follow the dharma shastras and then offer the results to Krishna, then he will accept it. We cannot whimsically do things. So that's why Prabhupada is writing in this purport, we cannot whimsically do this. Whimsically means our own thinking, I can do this illegal activity and I can offer the results to Krishna. Like I'll tell you, there is a person in Pune. He runs slaughterhouses for chicken and he sells it at Venki's Chicken, something like that. And he built a Balaji temple in Pune. Now, is this dharmically allowed to offer that result to Krishna? No, right? You are not meant to kill and then offer those results to Krishna. No. killing animals and offering that result is not done to Krishna. So we have to be clearly doing that, clearly understanding, that offering Krishna should be done according to dharma, not according to our own selfish desires. Hmm? Any question on this? Any doubt on this understanding? Yes. Okay.
Uh,
Yeah.
Hare
Go
Krishna
ahead.
Prabhu.
Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So I heard one story where one of the Muni Rishi, he used to do tapas, and then when one bird splits on that Muni, when that Muni saw that bird, it burns. And then when he went for bhikshuk to one house, one Mataji, she was waiting to serve their households, and then Rishi got angry, and then that lady say that, and that Mataji say that, no, I know that you have burnt one bird. Uh, then that Rishi was surprised how she got to know,
Hmm.
and she says that I am delivering my duties. My duty is to serve my house, my husband.
Hmm.
And Rishi says, how you got these all, how to do. And then she suggested one person, one Prabhuji, to go to some village and then ask for his name. So I don't know the names actually. So
Hmm.
that Prabhuji, he used to, you know, cut this chicken and
Oh,
these.
okay. Okay. Got it. Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So this story is there in
So,
Mahabharata. Okay. That
right.
a butcher then
Butcher.
instructs. Yeah. A butcher instructs this sadhu.
Right.
Right. So the thing is, it also says that the butcher says, how he gets the flesh. So he says that I don't kill animals. Which animals died naturally, I skin them off and I bring that particular flesh and I sell it. So so that is the detail, which
Okay.
probably you didn't
Okay.
know. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't aware of
Yeah.
that detail.
Yeah, it's a very interesting story where a butcher is doing things dharmically, but he's born in that kind of family and he has to do it. So he's not killing.
Hmm.
He's not killing. See,
Only
traditionally
for his
also,
livelihood, he is doing that
yeah,
continuously.
yes. See, traditionally, if you see, these instruments, musical instruments, right? They use the skin of the animal for tabla and for various
Hmm.
other. Now, how do they get the skins of the animal? So they don't kill the animals. Okay, they don't kill the animal. The animal dies naturally, and then they skin it off, and that skin they will use it for the um, instruments and for various other things also. Previously, the skins were used to protect from cold. It was used by kshatriyas for fighting. All the skins, they were pretty thick skins, isn't it?
Hmm.
So they, at that point, it was not like this large scale industry going on. Large scale industry, the way the animals are getting killed. I mean, if you just YouTube and see how they are getting killed, it is just horrible. This is not what the dharmic shastra says. Dharmic shastras know that in certain places meat eating will be done, so they will allow it in a dharmically way. Okay, so in one sense they will allow, let's say, meat eating only on certain days. It is there in one of the shastra. It says only in certain days you can eat the meat, and that also not of this animal, that animal. So cow protection is highest, not of the cow. And our lower animals they will go, like goat or sheep or chicken or fish. They'll go. Hmm? But that is also not every day. It will be only on certain days. So that's how, dharmically, the dharma shastras, they will guide these kind of people who have the tendency of, eating non-vegetarian food, or they are in a place where, getting vegetarian food is itself difficult. So the point I want to mention, is that we have to look at the dharma shastras to understand, how to do things. Okay.
Yeah, understood,
So,
Prabhu. Thank you so much.
what was your question? You were just telling the story, or you were asking some question?
Yeah, so I thought he is killing and then he is selling.
Okay,
So
okay,
will
okay.
that not impact
Yeah, he's
because
not
he
killing.
has that
Yeah,
knowledge?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. He's not killing.
understood.
See, even though
Right.
he was selling, still he was dharmically doing things.
Hmm.
Okay, he was dharmically doing things.
So that he can offer to Krishna also, right?
Uh, in that sense, yes, because he was not killing. Everything was happening naturally, right? By the natural course of the nature.
Hmm.
Okay,
Yeah, thank you very much.
yeah. So we'll go to verse number 58. We'll read the shloka because these are very, very important shlokas of Bhagavad Gita, the last chapter. Machchita sarva durgani mat prasadat tarayashisi mat prasadat tarayashisi अथ चेत्वम अथ चेत्वम अहंकारम न श्रोयस्य विनश्यसि. Now Krishna says, if you don't listen to me, you will be confused. You better listen to me. If you become conscious of me, you will pass over all obstacles of conditioned life by my grace. I will give the mercy, you'll pass over. Hmm? If, however, you do not work in such consciousness, let's say you want to act independently according to your own thoughtful thought and your own whimsical thinking, not hearing from me, you will be lost. Hmm? So a teacher says this thing, right? If you want to pass in this exam, you listen to me, you will pass and do what I say, right? If you remember your 10th, 12th, teachers would say this thing, isn't it? Did anyone of your teachers say similar thing?
Yes, Prabhu. I think in school days
Yeah.
they used to say
Ah.
only just listen
Yeah.
and
See, only a
High
teacher can.
school
Yeah.
days.
Yes. Yes, Mataji. What are you saying?
I think high school days.
Ah,
Tell
high
us
school
again.
days. Okay. Yes. See, only a teacher can say this thing. So now Arjuna made Krishna the teacher, right? So he's making this statement. He's right. Krishna is making the right statement here. He's giving this knowledge, and he himself is the supreme. Okay, he is himself the greatest rishi. He's himself the greatest yogi, and he's making this greatest statement by a teacher. I've given you this knowledge. You listen to me. You will pass over all the obstacles of conditioned life. If you don't listen to me, you will be lost. Krishna is not like a common man, walking on the street. And then he tells me, hey, you need to listen to me. Let's say you're walking somewhere and this person comes and says, you need to listen to me. Okay? Will you listen to him? No, right? We are just walking on the street. What is this person? Who are you? We don't know him. Now, after hearing whole 18 chapters, if Krishna says, listen to me, is there something wrong in it? No, right? He's already given that knowledge. He's already teaching Arjuna. He's the best teacher there. So Krishna making this statement is is completely right because he has put effort in giving the right knowledge to Arjuna. A person in full Krishna consciousness is not unduly anxious about executing the duties of his existence. A foolish cannot understand this great freedom from anxiety. For one who acts in Krishna consciousness, Lord Krishna becomes the most intimate friend. So Krishna becomes the friend when we do all our activities in Krishna consciousness. He always looks after his friend's comfort and he gives himself to his friend. who is so devotedly engaged, working 24 hours a day, 24 hours a day to please the Lord. So, so if you look at the picture of Mahabharata, this is our greatest picture of Mahabharata. What is Krishna doing here? He is taking care of the comforts of his friend. How is taking care of the comforts of his friend Arjuna?
By becoming chariot
Yeah, by becoming the charioteer
and guide
and guiding
and
him
guiding
first,
him in
by knowledge,
every
next
aspect.
by taking him through all the various battlefields in Mahabharata.
And even during before the battle, he blow the conch shell to clear all
Yes,
the obstacles.
right. So, such a devotee who is 24 hours engaged to him, Krishna will very nicely take care of this devotee. Therefore, no one should be carried away with a false ego of bodily concept of life. One should not think himself as independent of the laws of nature, free to act. He is already under strict material laws. We all are under strict material laws. If we do some mistake, then the material law will definitely attack us. And here the dharmic laws, they are already working on us. Hmm? So simple example is, if we eat late night, then the next day morning we'll have some stomach ache. Okay. So therefore, the eating process should be done by sunset only. After sunset, one should not eat ideally. If one eats, then it should be little early, 2 hours before sleep. So such a things, dharmic laws, they say all this. Why? Because our body is under the laws of material nature. Hmm? Therefore, we should know what are the material laws, and we should follow them. It is not like becoming devotees and after that we cannot follow. No, we have to follow them. As soon as one becomes Krishna conscious, he is liberated from free from material perplexities. One should note very carefully that one who is not active in Krishna consciousness is losing himself in the material whirlpool, in the ocean of birth and death. No conditioned soul actually knows what is to be done, what is not to be done. But a person acts in Krishna consciousness is free to act because everything is prompted by Krishna from within and confirmed by the spiritual master. So for a pure devotee, Krishna is talking from within as a Paramatma and outside as the Guru. So such a thing is happening with pure devotee. Papa, Papa, you should better order some big basket. Other now order something more. I don't have any time about that. Meeting है ना? Better order something big basket. Okay. Okay. So we are out of time here. Okay. So let's open up for some questions. Any question anyone has? Any questions or comment?
No problem.
No. Okay. So we will stop here at 58. Next week we'll continue with 59.